This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
So it's time for today's birthday boy on January 11th. And this guy from the 76ers, Daryl Dawkins, Chocolate Thunder. He is our birthday boy. One of the legendary dunkers of all time. Sadly, though, Daryl Dawkins passed away at the age of 58 in 2015. But on January 11th, 1957, he was born. He was known for his tenure with the Sixers and Nets, even though he played for the Pistons and Jazz later in his career. His nickname Chocolate Thunder was bestowed on him by Stevie Wonder. Didn't know that. He was known for his powerful dunks, which led the NBA to adopt breakaway limbs because he shattered a backboard on two occasions in '79. He often ranked along the late leaders in field goal percentage, and he actually went to 3 NBA finals and the most fouls in one season, 386 back in 83-84. Daryl Dawkins was heavily recruited coming out of high school in 1975. He could have went to Florida State, he could have went to Kansas, or he would have went to Kentucky. Kentucky had a major program. Kansas was not this program of the 80s and 90s that we all know today. It was great. And Florida State wasn't really that good. However, he decided to directly enter the NBA draft out of high school. However, he made the decision because he wanted to make enough money to keep his grandmother, mother, and siblings out of poverty. And the Sixers, with the 5th pick in the 1975 draft, plunked him. The 4 guys ahead of him: David Thompson, David Myers, Marvin Webster, and Alvin Adams. David Thompson was a no-brainer. He was one of the best dunkers ever. David Myers, who the heck is he? Marvin Webster, not really that good. And Alvin Adams helped the Suns out. He signed a 7-year contract. He was on the Sixers bench for a few seasons. All that. So, couldn't do much. However, Dawkins basically was made huge because the Sixers needed a playoff run and they needed a big man to counter Dave Cowens of the Celtics and Moses Malone of the Rockets. The Sixers got to the NBA Finals by beating those 2 teams. So they had to face Portland and Bill Walton. So it was the battle of Walton versus Dawkins. The Sixers did pretty well, going up 2-0 on the Trailblazers, the outsiders from Oregon. But sadly, though, Portland won the next 4, and the Sixers just couldn't stand to win a title. It was pathetic. Daryl Dawkins was ejected from Game 2 after fighting with Mo Lucas. He took his anger out on the Sixers' locker room by tearing a toilet out of the wall and dislodging a locker stall and barricading the door with it. He seemed to be good with his help with Dr. J, George McGinnis, Be Free, or World Be Free, as he's Doug Collins. He basically did well with field goal percentage. The Sixers were the best team in the East and got to the conference finals where Washington got them in the 78th season. Philly traded George McGinnis to Denver in '79 so that Dawkins could be a permanent front court starter. Basically, it was a rotation with Chocolate Thunder and Caldwell Jones splitting time at the center and power forward positions. He led the Sixers to the 1980 NBA Finals, but sadly, the Lakers with Magic Johnson beat them in 6. However, his field goal percentage was pretty good, 607, or basically for every 1,000 shots he attempted, he would hit 607 of them. He was only second to Artis Gilmore. Dawkins looked good, and the Sixers looked good, but the Celtics beat them in Game 7 of the conference finals. The Sixers got to the NBA Finals, but lost to Lakers in 6. Frustrated with the team's inability to handle Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Sixers needed to make a move, so they got rid of Dawkins to the Nets, and sent Caldwell Jones to Houston for Moses Malone. The worst part for Dawkins is that the Sixers won the NBA title the next year, so you got to feel a little protected. But Dawkins was traded for a first-round pick. And Dawkins, at age 25, joined a team that had Albert King, Buck Williams, and Otis Birdsong. Not that bad. He had a renaissance. He helped the New Jersey Nets they were in New Jersey at the time, in 1983 to their 49 to a 49-33 mark, which was the best since the merger and the best record till 2002. Wow, he did fantastic. In 83-84, he did a little bit better. As weird as it sounded, in the first round of the 84 playoffs, he got to meet his former team, the Sixers. Would there be revenge? I don't know. Number 6 Nets against number 3 Philadelphia. The Nets won the first 2 games in Philadelphia, which was shocking. That's the defending champions. However, the Sixers went to the Meadowlands and beat them in games 3 and 4. However, at game 5, remember, this is best of 5 at this time, the Nets shocked everyone as New Jersey overcame a late deficit to win the playoff series and knock out the defending champions. Sports Illustrated said it was one of the top 10 greatest upsets of all time. And that was 2013, I think. The Nets would then falter to the Milwaukee Bucks. The Nets had high expectations because Daryl Dawkins was having a renaissance. Sadly, though, injuries would hurt him deeply. Back surgery would hurt him, and he would be traded to Utah in the 1987 offseason. However, he only played for 4 games before the Jazz traded him to the Pistons for a pair of second-round draft picks and some cash. Dawkins' personality was good for the Bad Boys Pistons team, and he was a leader, though. He had back injury problems and dealt with the death of his wife. In his final season, the Pistons won the NBA title, and I don't think he got a ring for that. No, I don't think he got a ring for that, which sucks in a sense. I think he doesn't have a ring. No, he doesn't have a ring, which sucks. He could have had one. Dawkins was given a training camp invitation from Orlando, who were going to come into the league as an expansion team in 1989, but he decided to go to Italy. He attempted to come back in 94 in Denver and 95 in Boston, but couldn't do it. Here's the funny thing. Well, Dawkins set an NBA record by making 386 personal fouls during the 83-84 season. Now, in the NBA, 6 fouls disqualifies you from the game. So basically, it would be a case of 64. He would foul himself out in 64 games out of 82. He didn't foul out every game, but 64 out of 82 games he would have fouled out. He committed 1 more personal foul during his career than Michael Jordan, despite playing less than 350 games behind Jordan. Basically, Daryl Dawkins was good. Yeah. All that. He would be part of the NBA 2K video game series as a reserve member of the 1980s Legends East team and NBA Ballers, too, which was amazing. Unfortunately, Dawkins died at age 58 from a heart attack in 2015. And he was a guest judge at WrestleMania 2 for the boxing match between Mr. T and Roddy Piper. I did not know that. He was at WrestleMania 2. So anyway, why Dawkins is known is for his dunking. In 1979, in a game against the Kansas City Kings, who then moved to Sacramento before the 1985 season, if you must know, Dawkins ended up breaking the backboard, sending Bill Robinson of the Kings ducking. And he nicknamed that dunk the Chocolate Thunder Flying, Robinson Crying, Teeth Shaking, Glass Breaking, Romp Roasting, Bun Toasting, Wham Bam, Glass Breaker, I Am Jam. Which was amazing. All that. Dawkins actually wore gold chain necklaces during games until the end of the 1988 NBA Finals when the NBA players banned their players from wearing them on court. Maybe for safety reasons, I don't know. So anyway, Dawkins did that. And the late Craig Sager was actually working in Kansas City as a television producer and all that, and he had got to interview Dawkins. 3 weeks later, against the San Antonio Spurs at the Spectrum, he did it again. But this time, he ripped the hoop out of the backboard. All that. The NBA decided to make a rule that breaking a backboard was an offense that resulted in a fine and suspension. And basically, Larry O'Brien, the commissioner of the NBA at that time, said that basically Dawkins would have to pay $5,000 for every subsequent rim when he breaks it. However, he never broke another one again. Thank goodness for that. But they still made the breakaway rims that basically try to stop backboard breaking dunks. But that didn't stop Shaq from destroying 2 backboards in his rookie campaign with the Orlando Magic. That was amazing. Daryl Dawkins was good. Was he worthy of being part of the 80s Legends team? Probably not. NBA 2K should be a little bit ashamed of themselves. He was just known for his dunking. What else was he known for? His field goal percentage, sure, but anything else, not really. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jeff Diamond. I do